Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to the channel for another one of our weekend previews. A little bit of a bumper episode this week. We have racing from 5 different meetings: Newbury, Ripon, and the Curragh on the flat. But we're also going to take a look at Perth and Market Rasen. I like to follow the summer jumps racing, the English and Irish. I know a lot of people sort of stay away until the jump season starts at Chepstow and things like that, but we started to get some decent racing, so we thought we'd throw in a few of those races as well. But because we've got 9, I don't expect the lads to have a selection in every race. But if we do, happy days. If we don't, we move on. You know the drill. Thanks everyone for tuning in again. We do really appreciate if you can like and subscribe. It does boost the channel a great deal, and it's completely free to do so. And I will give you a bit of nice things in the housekeeping section in a moment, but we will say hello to the lads first. Mr. Jamie Wren, how you doing? Wee, Jamie.
You're very excited, Joe. I'm getting worried about you.
Well, we're not far from the jump season now, see, so we can start getting excited.
You're forgetting about a good meeting at York next week, Joe. Come on, we're still in the
Well,
flat mode. We're
you
still in
can
the
cover
flat
that.
mode.
You and Liam can cover that. You've got this.
Yeah, all good, Joe.
Good,
Ready to go.
good,
Come on,
good stuff,
let's
mate.
get on with
All right, cool. Liam, how are
it.
you? You okay?
I'm all right. I've got a ball on as big as my head, so
That is a big ball one, isn't it?
it
Yeah, yeah,
is,
yeah.
mate. So yeah,
Is
I'm going to
Billy
enjoy that when you
Bourbon.
two start boring
Billy
me.
Bourbon. That's what we're going to call you from now on.
Billy
Billy Bourbon.
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 Might be a horse name in that as
Yeah,
well, you
Billy
know.
Bourbon.
Here we are.
Right, so like we said, we've actually got 9 races, so quite a lot to get through. Starting to get exciting though now, so we do have a little bit of housekeeping for you, just a couple of things to mention. We noticed a lot of the other National Hunt podcasts, if you like, are starting very early in September. We thought it might be a little bit too soon, but we have actually pulled the trigger and decided our jump season start date on the channel is going to be the 9th of September. We're having a rebrand. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. But from the 9th until Chepstow, which is about the 10th of October, I think it is, we aren't going to be fully Cheltenham focused. There's lots of stuff to get through. We're going to bring you some horses to follow. We've got loads of stable tours booked in this year. Of course, I've done my usual with Jamie Snowden, Ben Paulin, Barry Connell, and all the rest of the jazz. But we've got even more this year. We're also going to be doing some French recruits episodes, some point-to-point recruit episodes. We've got lots of special guests, and we're going to do our usual season preview. We've also got a Twitter Spaces season preview booked in for October the 1st. You're all invited to that. That's going to be myself, Jamie, and Liam as usual. But we're also going to be joined by a good friend of the show, Ian from the Cheltenham Exchange. And also, what's going to be one of his first appearances on any sort of podcast or Twitter spaces, we're going to have Alex, who is the Road to Cheltenham account, good friend of ours from Twitter. So we've got loads going on, and that's all going to be back from the 9th. So it's a busy time for us. You don't want to miss out because we genuinely have got some really cool guests, and we can't wait to get started. Right, I think that is everything. Yes, I believe it is. Right, we're going to get on with the racing now because, like I said, we've got a lot to get through. And we're going to start off at Newbury, gents. It's important to mention that this is being recorded before declarations. And to be fair, looking at this weekend's racing, that has made things rather difficult. But we do have a decent opening race at Newbury, the 150. It's the Highclere Stakes, which is a Group 3 over 1 mile 6 furlongs. So this is for the real stayers here. We've got Pinhole at 2-1. Epic Poet at 4-1, Candleford at 5s, Nighttime Dancer at 5s, Further at 7s, Ambient Friendly at 9-1, and then El Sarkab at 14-1, who I don't think is going to run, probably based on the price. I'm not a fan of Pinhole here, those lads. I'm not totally convinced he's going to stay. He's by Frankel. He's a colt. You're really going to want to have him relaxed. But Jamie, is he the right favourite here in the first?
Absolute Napo of the whole weekend.
Oh,
Absolute
wow.
certainty. Get on. Go back through the form. 10 lengths, obviously beaten in the Chester race behind Lambourne. Lambourne is Jewel Derby winner. It's the horse, Joe, that I really like. That look, I actually backed him at Ascot. I really, really fancied him over 1.6 miles. I get your point that there's a bit of stamina doubts. That was 1.6 miles. That Carmers is a really good horse. Paddy Toomey's, and you just have to look at the fifth in that race. Who didn't get the great run of the race in Scandinavia. Who went on then to win the Bahrain Trophy at the
Of course,
Newmarket.
yeah.
And Scandinavia beat Illinois at Goodwood. No favour for a Gold Cup. Wanted
Where
Ascot
where was that, Jane, that you finished behind Karmas? Because it was a Group 2, wasn't it?
in Ascot, right? Ascot, yeah. The
In
Group 2
Ascot.
in the. Go ahead.
In the same race, Further, who's 7-1 here. was second that day. Anything in that, or do you just think that it might have not
Further,
been
yeah, Further was disappointing. I thought behind Scandinavia in the Bahrain Trophy. I would say
okay?
fifth, 25 lengths beaten, fifth of fifth. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he was hammered then, really bad.
Hammered
Yeah,
then, yeah. I don't know. Scandinavia didn't get to run the race. Cameron's got to run of the race that day, but it's just Pinhole never got to run the race in Ascot too. And you know what Ascot show? There's a lot of unlucky stories, and you have to look further back in
sure.
all these big fields at Ascot. Doesn't matter what size the field it is, but you're genuine guaranteed nearly average about 12 runners a race normally
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Ascot, and it's just the way he won Ascot the last day. Again, he went back to Ascot and won by 5.5 lengths to Sale. It's just his back form, Lambourne, Scandinavian races. I think he's improving, and I think he'll just win. I know it's boring, and I'm gonna be boring in the next
Hey,
race too.
no,
I
no,
think
nothing bored about
he
winners.
is an absolute good thing, and I think he's just improving, and I think he'll win.
Well, there you go. Fair enough. It just shows how obviously opinions can differ, I suppose. I just question the fact that he's got to go up in trip, but like you said, that form is quite tempting, and the fact that you're saying Napa over the weekend, I've obviously got to pay a bit of attention to that. Liam, any difference of opinion there to Jamie?
Yeah, he's an absolute rancid price, and he is one who is massively high on my shortlist for a place lay this weekend.
Oh wow, here we go. So
I love it.
we're turning the tables. He's on in the first
So
race.
if I can lay him for a couple of places, like 3 places to finish outside the front three, dependent on obviously how many actually turn up following decks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be high on my agenda for that. The horses that he beat in December, the only other race that he's won, I think they're rated in like the high 80s and 70s in behind. You look on official ratings, 4 of the other 6 horses
Mhm.
in this race are rated higher than him. And yet, I know he's getting the weight allowance, but I made that mistake last week thinking Detain would be a good thing with the weight for age, and that didn't prove true. Fifth or seven, and I can see him outside all of these lot. What I think will beat him, I couldn't make a confident selection on, to be honest, but I would be confident enough to stick my money where my mouth is and place lane to 2 or 3
Oh,
places.
Whoop, yeah, boy.
fight talk for the first race there. Well, just to make it more confusing, if I was to have a selection, it would be Epic Poet because I know he stays 2 miles. The drop back in trip's obviously going to be no problem for him. He was only beaten ahead by Rebels Romance as well, the Globetrotter, and that form's just solid enough for me in a race where I don't really have a standout. Whether I back him or not is another question, but it might be worth listening to the boys there instead. Take your pick. Maybe let us know as well who you fancy in the comments if you're on Pinhole side or if you're against. Okay, 3:35 at Newbury next. Nice Group 2, the Hungerford Stakes. Pretty decent race here, lads. More Thunder at 5-2, Spy Chief at 4-1. Then you got to King's Gamble at 5, Notable Speech at 11-2, who I don't think's jocked up at the moment. But More Thunder's an interesting horse. He's a multiple winner now over 6 furlongs. He seemingly appreciated the step up as well to 7 furlongs when he won the Bunbury Cup. Liam, he's a horse that's just seemingly improving all the time. Is this his for the taking, or is there something else that floats your boat? Because at the end of the day, he is quite a short price still, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, he is. He was a little bit of a bigger price earlier in the week. I think Notable Speech was actually in a favourite. I know that
Oh,
Charlie
well.
hasn't jocked up either of his bookings or either of his
Mm,
entries rather in here. Um, he's a bit on the short side for me. I'd rather be with a horse that's proven it kind of in and around group company. Obviously, you needed every single, never mind yard, blade of
yeah,
grass, you
yeah,
need to get up the last.
yeah.
Um, and if you look back at his form, albeit he was definitely the best horse in that race, subsequently it's not been particularly franked at all. So Alto then finished out the back of the telly at Goodwood. And prior to that, I think he was either beaten by or beat Get It, who in the same race was, I think, last of like the 24 or whatever it was at
Okay.
Goodwood. I'd be against him, to be honest, Joe. I think there's enough reasons to take him on. And I
Is
think
there one you
Witness.
actually fancy, or is it more the case that he's just one that you consider laying again, or is there a selection that you've got on your radar still? Again, declarations permitting, of course.
Yeah. No, there's one that I'd be with. Witness Stand. Billy Lockname jocked up, obviously
Oh,
having a
nice.
fantastic season. Second, I
Mm,
think, behind O'Sheen in the Jockeys Championship. Obviously, he's already proven it at group level at Goodwood last time out.
Brilliant.
It
Yeah.
might be a case that was horses for courses, because I think course form came to the fore a little bit over the course of Glorious Goodwood week. But yeah, Witness Stand would definitely be the one on my radar. Obviously, you'd have to give weight to a lot of the field, if not all of it, Joe. But yeah, I'd rather be playing him at an each way price at what, 7, 8 to 1 than
Yeah.
taking 5 to 2 about More Thunder.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Jamie?
Yeah, I'm going to be unoriginal here. This is my next best. I looked down at it. This is going to really cut up, Joe, to be honest with you, because Noticeable Speech obviously was favourite during the weekend, is drifting. And Shadow of Light is 10 to 1. That'll tell you a lot that the Godolphin horses are probably not going to turn up. The only Godolphin horse is actually going to turn up who was jacked up as Spy Chief. I don't really like that horse. I never have. I know he's £5 higherly rated than More Thunder and getting £5, but More Thunder is improving. I have a slight disagreement with Liam there. I understand. I remember I tipped the Alto to win the Bunbury Cup. I couldn't believe it drifted to 40-1. I was beating an absolute Nostra. But the likes of Getting and Alto are like Alto won the Bunbury Cup the year before. They were primed for the race. So next time out, you just avoid them.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
the rule of thumb I have, and it's no respect to Liam's opinion. It's just the rule I have is that he was primed for that race. More Thunder looked like an improving horse. No, he did near every inch. But he looks like he's improving. He should have won at Ascot. Jamie Heffernan could get it a great ride. You have to give credit where credit is due. It was a great ride. And he's a 7 furlong horse. He's not a 6 furlong horse. 6 furlongs uphill. I'd worry about him slightly if there's no pace. But if there's a little bit of pace here, I think he's just improving. And this is going to cut up. And if like the likes of the other Godolphin horses don't turn up. But there is form with the Hackwood between Rage of Bambi, who's 12 to 1 here, and King's Gamble. There have to be put into play. I have 6 furlongs. This is 7. They're going to have to come into play because they might improve, but I think Moral Thunder is just an absolute good thing. And 5 to 2, he won't be 5 to 2 in the day. He'll be shorter because it's going to cut up. And I think he'll win.
Interesting. With regards to last weekend, William Buick, where was he? I should know, but where was he? Saratoga. And was he banned?
Saratoga.
He was over in Saratoga. Is there any reason why neither the Godolphin horses are jocked up? Is because Buick is potentially coming back and seeing which one's working best? I know they're both entered at York next week.
Yeah.
Saratoga's on the weekend as well.
Oh.
Well, this weekend as well, is it?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Buick is sent. Buick give Nation's Pride an off right the weekend actually. Flavian Pratt give El Cordoba's Flavian Pratt. I wouldn't give.
Oh yeah, he flew late, didn't he? Got it late.
Yeah. Buick chooses Saratoga a lot over British racing, so I wouldn't take any notice to that. But I like, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I was just thinking whether he was re-entering the UK at some point, wanting to get back to the yard and then make a decision on what to sit on, and that's why they hadn't been jocked up. But you might be right, Jay. They might both go to York, mightn't they?
But these are the good things to ask.
Will be at York, yeah. But this is Saratoga season, as you know yourself, and this is Buick trying to decide who he's going to ride because they're going to have loads for the Breeders' Cup in every race.
Yeah.
Well, look, this is exactly what talking to your friends and other people about racing's good. Look, because you figure out things, and that gives Liam a bit of an answer to why Buick's not there. I wouldn't have known as well, but then obviously it just helps you with your selection process a little bit. Jamie, look, I haven't got a strong selection here because I don't want to back More Thunder at 5 to 2. I do appreciate that he's probably going to improve again. This 7 furlongs clearly is to his liking, and when we spoke about him before, when he did win the Bunbury Cup, we said he's just a horse that just gets better through his races. I like horses like that because they just don't do anything wrong. You can ride him from the front, from the back, so he will be really hard to beat. I quite like this Spy Chief. People probably won't like that Group 1 form, but I don't think it's too bad. That was over 6 furlongs. I think 7 furlongs would be better for him, but again, neither of them are 5 to 1. I can't back either each way, and I'm split with him, so it's probably best to leave that for me. Moving on to Ripon. This is a brilliant race here. The 320, the William Hill Handicap. 24 runners currently. There is a max field of 20, and again, important to note that we are doing this before declarations. But this is a 6 furlong Class 2 handicap. 7 to 1 the field at the moment. Probably won't be far off that the day. 5, 6, 4, 5 to 1, something like that. I actually quite like one in here, lads. It's not usually a race that I take much interest in. So I'll fire away and just give you my shout here. He's already jogged up, and It's a horse called Abduction at 20-1 for Jim Goldie. £7 claimer on board called Shea Farmer, but you can't really take that into account of his mark because he also rode him last time out with that £7 claimer again, but he won really well. He's actually had 63 runs as a horse, but the only thing that's interesting to mention is he's never been to Ripon. I haven't either, so I can't tell you too much about the track, but there might or might not be something in there. He runs off an official rating of 80. He has been up to 87, and he's a 7-year-old taking on the shorter horses, the younger horses. He's won over 6 furlongs. He's won over a mile. He's a really hardy 7-year-old here, and I think he's going to run a big race. And to go with it, he's got a real big speed figure. Likely to run by the looks of things. He's on a bit of a roll, and I like those sort of horses, especially against the youngsters. Going to get plenty of places on the available. So Abduction at 20-1 is quite a live shout from me. Jamie, we'll come back to you for this one. The big handicap. Have you got a fancy here, or a race that not really taking your fancy?
Fair play to you, Joe. You give a great preview there, and we added this race to the list, and I went through it, and I'm going to gladly sit it out.
Oh, lovely. Okay, cool. There we go. Liam, have you got a fancy here?
Yes, I have. I really do not want to look at the favourite's name ever again, Joe. I think I'd probably text you when he went in at
20-1, wasn't it?
Yeah,
22,
28. Ruth Carr.
I remember thinking, just why now? It was a bit like, why now, you know?
Well,
but anyway,
as we've said loads of times, I think sometimes finding the horses or knowing those that are being plotted out or planned for something, that's the easy part. But knowing the day can be more difficult.
yeah, that's it.
And then when you get the day wrong and it goes in at 22s, and you just want to blow your own brains out.
I take you.
Or if you give the wrong number.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you had too many Magnas and you get the wrong number. Yeah.
Oh, you had the winner as well.
I like a couple, well, a few in here, 2 of which aren't jocked up currently. Orazio, I'd be very, I'd be mental to give him another chance. He's got 5 duck eggs next to his name.
Yeah,
there's one who continues to fall in the handicap that I would probably keep on side, but he certainly wouldn't be top of the pecking order.
Okay.
The other 2 that I like are Grantwood, who's of course in distance winner, but again not jocked up. And the one that I've landed on is actually Northcliffe. He's got some decent back form. Last season, I think it was back end beat a horse, Masafi, for Ross Bird, and that was giving him £2, beaten by a neck, and that horse is now rated 87, £7 higher, and finished ahead of Sudden Flight, who's subsequently gone on to win as well. That horse is now rated, I think it's around about in the 90s, is it? 90, 94. Yes, getting weight from him, but yeah, obviously that form has been franked and beaten by a length and a half. So he's one who's certainly high on my radar. And as soon as we put the phone down to each other, I'll probably be doing a write up for him for Oddschecker.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Cool. Lovely. And he's basically, because you said the horses in front of him have sort of gone on to be rated higher, you would use that as an example of why you think he's even more well handicapped, because you'd expect him to go up to a similar level, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. So it's not really those who finished in front. I'd much rather take my form lines from those who have finished behind, and then
interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
So these horses so those that he's beat, really. I know that Jamie alluded to like so and so being X amount of lengths behind Lamborn. I'd probably rather be looking at what they finished in front of as opposed to what they finished behind. But there's obviously so many ways to skin the cat.
Of course, yeah. Right. No, of course, absolutely, mate, absolutely. Okay, Jamie. Sorry, we have done that one. That's the big handicap. We are off to the Curragh next. Is that right, gents? I'm not missing one there. No. Difficult at the Curragh again, viewers as well. We have no market, really unsure of who's actually going to turn up. The first race though is the 327. My computer is just loading we The 327 at the Curragh. I'm hoping by the time I finish the sentence it loads.
Here
we go.
Go on, Joe.
We got the Group 3. The 1 mile 2 furlong Royal Whip Stakes at the Group 3. You got the likes of Los Angeles and White Birch in here. I must admit, this is not a race that takes my fancy whatsoever. Oh, Liam, have you got a fancy at all?
I have, just for people's radars for later in the season. It needs to rain. It needs to start raining quickly, not just for the national hunt season, so we actually see some novice chasers out, but
Shut
also
up, Liam, don't tell him.
but it needs to start raining for White Birch as well. Good to firm currently the Curragh, so he probably will not be turning up. Would I take Los Angeles on again?
Given a
Possibly.
little bit of weight there, but not a massive amount. But he's not a
Yeah,
flashy horse, is
true.
he? He's like a real plodder. So if there is a fast finisher, he could be susceptible to something. I wouldn't want to back him off top weight. I just
No, I'd be in
wouldn't.
agreement with you. But no, White Birch will definitely be on my radar for other things later in the season. And I know it's unpopular for, what is he, 5-year-old horse to go and win something like the Arc when there's such weight swings to
Mm.
fillies and obviously weight for age for those that are 3. But yeah, he'd be on my radar for that if it's soft enough. But yeah, so if he doesn't, nothing for this particular race, but White Birch is one that I'm hoping to back in a few weeks if it starts raining at some point.
Jamie, you similar views then, perhaps? Is that what the nod of approval
Well,
was to a
there was
degree?
a load of rain this side of the country today, and it absolutely bucketed down.
Okay.
Absolutely. So if that goes to the other side of the thing, will it get into the ground enough? Because it's supposed to dry out after that, because there's no rain forecast after today for the next week.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I don't think it'll get in the ground enough. Now, hopefully it might. But I rather him trot around. Like I see Ian O'Brien come out in an interview today saying that he's working back from the Arc with Los Angeles. I wouldn't back Los Angeles ever again after what happened at Ascot. I think he was ruined. I don't think he'll ever come back from that. I think that
Interesting.
absolutely ruined him.
I don't hate that, to be honest. Like,
And the Prince of Wales stakes, Ombudsman won, but it was a pace collapse and move on. And look, Ombudsman ran well, obviously, in Dick Tips, but he still had a better horse than Delacroix. Anyway, it doesn't make a difference. But we move on from that. The one that interested me here, obviously, White Birch. I think White Birch, I would actually fancy him more at Ascot in an English Champion Stakes than an Irish Champion Stakes representative.
Okay.
Because I think if it absolutely buckets down, if it's soft heavy ground, he's an absolute good thing. Absolute good thing. Because that 10 furlong division and soft heavy wouldn't have many horses that would love that ground. And he would be an absolute, definitely on my radar for that.
Yeah.
If one horse did turn up here, is the Johnny Murta horse. That's won a couple of times this year. He won his main at Cork at 1-3. He won a list race and Leopardstown over mile 4. He probably is a mile and 4 horse, but I wouldn't be discouraged if we back to 10 furlongs. A horse called Zayran, or
Okay.
whatever. He was second in the King Edward to Amalok. I thought
Nice.
he
Yeah.
was a great race. Now Amalok is a really good horse, I think, for Rafe Beckett. Galveston for Aidan O'Brien was third, and fourth was Wimbledon Hawkeye, who ran very well in Goodwood behind Merchant, who is going now up against Lambourne in the Great Frontager. So the form is there. I think this race is going to cut up. Like if White Birch and Los Angeles turn up, I wouldn't be afraid to back him because he'll be trying, where White Birch and Los Angeles have further targets down the line. So if he turns up, I'm going to back him.
Yeah, interesting points about there, James. Like the targets, like you said, catching them at the right time is really important too. We move on to the 4:37. We have the St. Ledger Trial Stakes over 1 mile 6. Nice to see Absurd in the lineup here. If he takes his chance, it'd be great to see. You'd absolutely love to own him, wouldn't you? He's a group winner on the flat. He's of course won the county hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival. You can run him any trip,
He's won
anywhere
a
you like.
Sussex champion hurdle.
Yeah, it's incredible though, isn't it? He's amazing because like I'd love to see him in a champion hurdle. I think we discussed this last year, didn't we? We said like a rapid pace champion hurdle, chuck him in. He wouldn't look out of place, would he? But anyway, he doesn't look out of place wherever he goes. He can run anywhere on the planet and look like he has a chance. Absurd. You've got the likes of Uxma in here, Crystal Black, Crypto Force. It's not really, again, a race that I've got much inspiration for, to be honest, gents. Jamie?
Yeah, a horse that I really like that I haven't seen since the Linkford Derby trial behind Puppet Master. If a horse called Stay True runs in this, he has to win to be considered an Irish St. Ledger horse. Or even an English St. Ledger horse. I'll put it that way, Joe. So I think if he runs here, I think he'll win. And I think he might go to the English St. Ledger. It's a bit of a dark horse.
Nice.
Hasn't been
Love it.
losing, yeah, but he was staying on, and I think the mile of 6 would really, really suit him. So he'd either run here and be first or second and go on to the English St. Ledger, where it probably will end up. But there's the slight chance he might go to the Irish St. Ledger, but I don't think he will because.
Any price for him anywhere, Jane? Is there a price for him for the Ledger?
I actually don't know, but Joseph O'Brien's horse will win the Irish St. Ledger with his mouth open. That's called Albriffa.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But
okay.
Stay True, I think, would probably need to win this to be considered for either Ledger. And if he runs, I think he'll win.
He's by Galileo, I see as well. Like lovely. You're not obviously not going to see him anymore. It's just a lush pedigree to have. Um, nice. We love a dark horse. Liam, are you price hunting there?
16's top price. I
16s.
thought, I thought he'd been far bigger than that, but
Yeah.
no, I'm completely in agreement with Jamie. If you go back and watch that race where Ryan Moore was
Oh,
on board,
nice.
Puppet Master, and I think I said this on the podcast when me and Jamie were both on it, following on from the kind of trials weekend. He was literally pulling the strings on Richard Kingscote anyway. On
Mm,
Stay True, he easily could have gone by him, but just basically didn't.
sure.
Subsequently, Richard Kingscote probably said more than people would have liked him to.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
And
okay.
obviously he knows that he's riding second fiddle and he's part of a team. And essentially that's what he was doing that day. I mean, complete agreement with Jamie, but you'd just like to know that he's absolutely sound. Otherwise, I'd be parting with a few quid at 16-1, but you could just be setting fire to it. So there's no point right now.
What would you do? You'd want to see him actually run, or you'd back him when he's declared?
Yeah, declared. I think. I think the
Yeah,
value will be gone. What do I see him run? No, I think the value will be gone by the time that
definitely
he
would, wouldn't
went to
it? Yeah.
line up. Yeah, and he's in the stalls. If I saw him declared, jocked up, declared, and then I'd be happy to take a swing at 16-1. Yeah, yeah. James, most of the words out of my mouth, to be honest.
Would you be the same there, Jamie? You'd consider having a small go on him now? What if he's declared for this weekend? Possibly.
Yeah, I'd wait for declarations, and if it's cut up a bit and he cannot but win, or be in the first
I
one
see.
or two,
You'd want a
I'd
right
say
field for him
the right
this
field.
time.
Yeah, and give him the
Yeah.
confidence then to go on to Doncaster. But he's definitely a huge dark horse for the St. Ledger because exactly what Liam's saying, King's could have opened his mouth and then he could have gone by there because Papa Master was really, really keen that day at Lingfield. And yeah, he really is a dark horse. And I really like him. I really like the way he's shaped. And maybe they've held him back for the autumn campaign. Maybe he's a bit of cut in the ground.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. All right, lovely. Love to see that. Right, we're going to head off to Perth then next, gent. So as I said, I didn't have any interest there at the Curragh. Again, if you're tuned in, let us know who you fancy for the weekend as well. Any fancies, any same opinions, different opinions, get involved. Right, we have 4 jumps races to take a look at. Again, some of us have got selections in some and not the others, but we'll get to those. We're going to start at Perth. We have a novices limited handicap chase over 2 mile 4 furlongs. 8 runners in the lineup as recording, at the time of recording. Interesting that we've got Gail Marler in here. Obviously showed a fair bit and ran a nice race at Cheltenham and so on, but hasn't really gone on to perhaps the heights that we could have expected maybe at one time. But she's a nice mare, Liam, isn't she? But if she lines it here, I'd imagine it's quite a tough ask to win off this mark, despite the opposition not exactly being too strong.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think there could be a little bit of a falsity if people don't look into the race in more depth, which I hadn't done until I knew we were previewing it. I thought,
Okay.
Gail Marler, that's a name that springs to mind. So you look
Sure,
back through the
yeah.
form, the type of horses she's competed against, and
Yeah.
you think, she should be well above these, which she would be on ratings. But as you say, with the weights, Joe, no, I'd be against her. I actually came down on King Rowley.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Went reverted to hurdles on his last start, but 2 starts prior to that was a winner off a mark of 113. He's only up £2, and the horse that he beat in second for the owners group, Nichols and Cobden, he beat him out of sight, I think, by about 13 lengths. Yes, albeit getting weight, but pecked on landing on a couple of occasions, was not particularly fluent during his round. And given the fact he's only up £2, if you can kind of return to that sort of form, he'd be worth a stab in the dark. However, again, as always, Joe, I'd be pretty price sensitive about it, mate. So it depends how they were priced up.
Might have cheeky Sean Bowen on board. You never know. Mind you, I haven't actually know what's going on at Market Raisin, but you'd hope you have Sean Bowen on. There's your extra few pounds right there. Jamie, have you got a fancy here?
No.
No? Okay. I quite like Garde de Chance here for Lucinda Russell and Michael Scudamore. So if you take a look, he's a 9-year-old. He's taken on a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 8-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Now, he did actually win quite nicely last time out. He was up a mark of £5 lower. And this isn't necessarily even a pick on form, but for Lucinda Russell and Scudamore to sort of be campaigning this horse on good ground this time of year, and the fact that he comes into this in good form, they're not going to have too many more sort of big days out of this horse. I like the fact that this is a horse coming into this race in form. I'd imagine a few of these have bigger targets, further down the line. So I'd be quite keen on Gardechamp here. Got a bit of course form as well. Don't see why they would actually run him here if they didn't think he had a bit of a chance. And he's hardly a plot job off this mark, but he comes into this in really good form. Okay, we will go on to the 607 at Perth next, which is a 2 mile handicap hurdle. Jamie, anything here? No? Okay. Liam?
Find me a winner, Joe.
Lovely. Well, I actually like one here, quite a lot actually. And it's a horse called Health for Tom Lacey. Stan Shepherd takes the ride. Really, really interesting horse. Actually had 30 starts on the flat before coming over the sticks, and he's taken to it really, really nicely. Won 3 of his 4 starts, obviously creeping up in the weights. But last time out, he absolutely battered Max of Stars, who's a really good horse for these sort of summer races. You see him all year long, like picking up prizes left, right, and centre. Health absolutely battered him. Now, he's 3 from 4 over hurdles. His only defeat actually came on his 3rd start. Now, this was the only time that Stan Shepherd wasn't in the saddle. The 3 times that he has won, Stan Shepherd has been in the saddle, and he actually got beat when he had Gavin Sheehan on board, but he made a really, really bad mistake then. He was given a little bit of an easy time. Obviously, this is a horse that's trying to sort of progress through the ranks, and there's probably a big handicap in him somewhere down the line as well. He's a really, really good jumper for the most part. He's only made one mistake that I've seen in watching all 4 of those races. He is getting a little bit high now of 128, but this is a really nice horse. He's going places, and it could be the fact that he was a nice hurdler all along and they shouldn't have bothered with him on the flat because he's shown a lot over hurdles. Tactically, you can ride him from the front or the back. It doesn't matter. He's got a lot of speed. Whoever turns up here, I'd be really sweet on Health's chances, and I think he's a little bit of a horse to follow as well.
Previously
Right.
owned by Magnia and Tabor.
Say it again.
Previously owned by Magnia and Tabor.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't
Really?
even realise.
Yeah. The poor horse has gone from the
Oh my
Ritz
God.
to
Yeah, that's
Holiday
incredible,
Inn.
isn't it? But did run well in some big handicaps on like the flat and stuff as well. Really interesting. But hey, look, it seems to be the making now that he's gone over hurdles. 3 wins and 4 whilst going up in the weights. I just love that. It's a horse going places, and whilst he's on a roll, who's to say he's not going to keep going? Right, over to Market Raisin. We have 2 more to go. I think we're going to start off in the 623, the handicap chase over 2 mile, 1 furlongs here. Again, I quite like winning this race. I'm going to come back to you, Jamie. Anything here?
No,
Liam, anything?
The lucky last of our preview.
That's all right. Like we said, we definitely don't want to force any selections. It's not the way to go about it. It's wise to let them be. Liam, anything for you?
The only one that caught my eye slightly was Mix of Clover. Has won recently, however, maybe edging up a little bit high in the handicap and is an 11-year-old. But we'll go on the ground, potentially not carrying as much weight as they did the last day when finished 2nd of 3. And that performance prior to that, Worcester, that got Grey is a decent horse for the Skeltons.
Yeah, for Skeltons. Yeah.
Yeah, that she finished 3rd behind and only 3 1/4 lengths. I haven't watched the race back, I have to be honest, Joe. So I don't know whether Got Grey was eased down and was just kind of crossing the line at a canter or what. But yeah, the only one that caught my eye, definitely not one that I'd be suggesting people to part with their money with, because as I've just admitted to, I haven't done enough research.
Hey, if it wins, we will claim it, Liam. We will claim it. I actually quite fancy one in here as well. Again, this is sort of just a real typical sort of summer jumps race, really. Captain Ivan, 11-year-old. Mixer Clover, 11-year-old. There's nothing wrong with older horses, by the way. I'm just making a point. You've also got Lermoose Legend at 9-year-old. So there's not too many big days left in these. However, the one who looks absolutely in his prime to me is the Brian Ellison trained Dream Jet. Nice to see that he's a course and distance winner here as well. Again, a horse already jocked up for the weekend, so you imagine that he's been sort of given a nice little break to come back here and run his race, but don't see what's not to like about him. There's a horse there called Harold de Morale as well. He looks like a horse on paper that just looks like really sort of appealing, but if you go and break down some of his form, he's been running in small fields, and it's not really as much to shout about as what first meets the eye. There's a few here. Clean Getaway. He's actually a really good horse here at Market Raisin. Plenty of course and distance wins for him, but he's just a real sluggish horse. It's not easy watching him race, to be honest. It doesn't fill you with confidence. The Dream Jet, he's improving. He's really, really consistent. We definitely haven't seen the best of him yet off a mark of 109. So again, I think this is one of these typical summer jumps races where you've got one horse that's ready to go and a few others that are going to have maybe a target a bit further down the line. But you do want to possibly keep one eye on that scouting horse there, Soleil d'Arizona. If that gets declared, they're probably here for a reason too. But ultimately, it's Dream Jet for me. Right, we go on to the lucky last, then Mr. Wren. I think it's the 728. It's a little bit slow again. Getting the card. Yes, we have. So we've got a handicap hurdle over 2 miles, 7 furlongs, and a few yards. Again, well, Jamie, I don't have anything here, so we'll swap proceedings. What do you like?
I like two in a show. One
Oh,
is Galata Bridge, who is jocked up for Sam Twiston Davis for Richard Newland and whoever he is with Richard Newland now anymore. The last time it won was off a mark of 116, I think, at Perth and over 2.5 miles, and absolutely hacked up.
okay.
And now all of a sudden, then it hasn't won since. It's been going around a bit. It was taken in and then in Utoxeter, sorry, no, at Utoxeter afterwards. But that was 2 miles. That was 2 miles 7. Hasn't won since that day in Perth, but it's been dropped to a pound lower than the last time it won. So that interested me. But the other one who has a massive standout was back from hurling and has won at Perth before, but now this is Mark Raisin, but is going right handed. And after Mark of 124, he was favourite the last day at Utoxeter over 3 miles 2. And Sean Bowman was jocked up. But now Benjamin Macy is jocked up. He's now off a mark of
Hmm.
15 over hurdles, and now Benjamin Macy takes 7 off. So Oliver's Travels, whatever price he opens, is definitely worth a bet too. And I think they're the two that stand out in the field. It's a poor race, but these horses know how to win races, and because they're back form from ages ago. So maybe this is the time to catch them. It's very interesting to know that they're putting a £7 claimer after putting Sean Bone on and putting him back hurling off a lower mark, which is what, £16 now with the
Hmm.
rain, lower than his chase mark. So if I get a price in him, I'd definitely back Oliver's Travels. But Galata Bridge is definitely on the radar as well.
If they both run, would you have a little go on both, or would you just take your chance and back
I
one
think
over
they
the
both
other?
run their jock. The jock they normally when they're jock like that with Twist and Davis or
Yeah,
£7 clear, they're definitely going to run. So it's either or for me, but I'd be more
cool.
Oliver Strap.
Cool, perfect. And Liam, finish us off. Have you got anything in the lucky last?
Yeah, I like the look of Williston dropping in class into here. He was a winner off £1 higher. And he's got around about £8 in hand based on his chase performances. So back below his last winning mark as a 9-year-old, I thought he was potentially interesting, but again, it would all be price dependent and trying to identify that value. But I like the case that Jamie's just made for the latter one of his two. So
Mm,
if I don't fancy him at his price, I'll definitely be following Jamie in on that.
cool, lovely stuff, lovely. Okay, and that wraps up the 9 race card preview. We've got there, lads. Thanks everyone as well, like I said, for sticking with us through the flat season. We're nearly there at the jumps now. Lads, before we go, should we chuck together a quick lucky 15? Anything on the spot? You can go back and have a quick look at the races we covered if you want. Um, I will chuck in abduction at 20 to 1 at Ripon in that big handicap. So if you want, we'll make this an each way lucky 15, unless the price is too short, which it doesn't matter. Jamie, you were quite sweet on More Thunder.
Yeah, I'm going to go with something else though
Okay, cool.
that we
Fire away.
haven't
Go.
that we haven't covered.
Yeah, fine. Okay, do it. Do it.
It's tomorrow night at Cork. Now with the rain that's come down here, I really fancy a horse in the 7. Hold on, no, Joe. Sorry, no, mine's loading here too.
All right.
It's 7:22 tomorrow night at Cork. It's the listed, no, the Group 3 gives thanks stakes at Cork over a mile and a half. I really fancy a Joseph O'Brien horse. So say Dylan McMullen is up. It's 5 to 1 at the moment. The best odds is probably 4 as every odds. Is a horse called Uluru and the reason I'm behind this horse is that I've been following this horse for a while. I like the colours. I've always followed him. But his most impressive run was when he won a distance race at Limerick over a mile and a half. And he beat Let Him Airs Bat or whatever it's called for Joseph O'Brien as well. So they know the story. He was pulled out earlier in the season at Cork in a Group 3. And I actually backed her in that race. So then it went on, obviously, then to go and finish behind One Look the last day at the Curragh, finishing 5 lengths behind. And I really like that One Look. That was a great Group 3
Yeah,
over
good
10
horse. Good
furlongs.
horse.
And she's a good horse. A mile and a half is Ulleru's trip, and a bit of cut in the ground would be absolutely right up our street. And 5-1 to find out the best odds. I really find certain Ulleru has to go in.
How do you say that? How do you spell it, James?
Ulleru, U-L-R-U.
Got ya.
U-L-U-R-U, yeah, Ulleru.
Uluru. Got ya. I see. So Uluru on Thursday. Liam?
I'm going to go with my most confident selection, but he's been declared. Well, he's not been declared. He's been entered, and obviously with Jack Daceup on in both races. So it's Northcliffe, but it'll be in the race before yours, Joe. So the 2:45 in the Class 4 as opposed to the Class 2, and I think he could go well in that. If anybody starts screaming, who's watching this, who is an Oddschecker subscriber of mine, they know that I've put something up already in this race, which is It Just Takes Time. But I'll be playing the pair. So there you are. You'll get it first from the Ginger Joe show rather than on my write-up.
There we go. There we go. Lovely. Well, that's 3, lads. We need a 4. We've got some pretty handy prices there. We've got an each way lucky. What else do we have?
How likely do you think Stay Alert is to turn up, Jamie? I suppose
that was my question.
I suppose it's a guessing game as to his well-being, isn't it?
Stay true. Yeah, chuck him in. Yeah, I think if he runs, he'll be decent price, and I think he'll win.
Right, fine. So if he runs, Stay True goes in there as well from the Curragh as a lucky 15. If he doesn't get declared, then you've got your Trixie with these 3, and we'll just go with that for this weekend.
And 2 of which are 20s, Joe. I don't think anyone will be moaning.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So you got a nice. Yeah, there we go. We've got some nice each way money there. Well, hopefully they run their races. We've got to get that done first, haven't we? But yeah, okay, right, gents, that is everything. Again, thanks everyone that has tuned in. Really appreciate it. Please, if you can, like and subscribe. I know I asked the question, but why not? It's nice to have you all tuning in. It's great to interact with you. If you can just click like and subscribe, it just gets our content out to a wider audience. Like I said, we've genuinely got some star-studded names joining the show this year. Loads of big plans, and keep an eye on all 3 of our accounts on Twitter as well. We get all sorts out there. I'll put the schedule up there soon. But like I said, the 1st of October is going to be our preview on Twitter, and we're going to start our jump season though on the 9th. Again, Jamie, thank you very much. Anything planned this week?
Yeah, it's the festival here in my local town, and
nice.
I'm going out Sunday to see Man United be there.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course they've got the football starting as well. It gives us something to keep interested in. Liam, much plans this week?
Just helping the missus pack. She's not leaving me. She's going on holiday. She might be leaving me. She might not come back. But,
you don't know yet, don't you?
It,
yeah, you haven't checked the return flight yet, but you know there's one going one way. That's for
I only booked it one way.
Yeah. All right, no. So thanks then, lad. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Like I said, we're really starting to gear up now. So thanks for sticking with us. We'll be back soon with loads of content. And yeah, thanks again. See you all real soon.